Well, everybody, we have just moments ago wrapped up our first weekend in the Whoop UCI Mountain Bike World Series. We got things underway in 2025 in Araxá, the first weekend of a doubleheader, and my did it deliver. Let's bring you the highlights from the women's race today, the first elite women's XCO of the season.
The opening round of the Whoop UCI Mountain Bike World Series was from Araxá, Brazil. Cross-country Olympic distance for the elite women. Got underway on the gun. And it was Zina Fry and Jen Jackson who took it on from the start. Jenny Rissvids, the national champion of Sweden, was in contention, as was a renewed Yolanda Neff, newly signed the Cannondale Factory Racing squad. Neff looking to get back onto the podium again in 2025. This huge crash from Jen Jackson would have put any mere mortal out of the race, but the Canadian remounted and was soon back in contention at the very front, as was New Zealand's Samara Maxwell, riding for the Decathlon Ford. Neff faded after that early effort and was soon back with Specialized Lyra Steger. It was Rissvids, Jackson and Maxwell at the front. The inside line running over the roots, working for Jackson, but Rissvids took the lead back. The ever-experienced 2016 Olympic champion was looking strong at the 2/3 mark and was soon joined by Sevilla Blanc, the American, fighting her way back through the field admirably. Samara Maxwell, though, was superb in the short track on Saturday and fancied another good go at it on Sunday. She sensed a weakness in Jenny Rissvids and decided to exploit it. Just over a lap to go, the Kiwi broke for home, leaving Blanc and Nicole Kohler in her wake, and would etch her name into the history books as the first New Zealand woman to win a UCI cross-country World Cup. Kohler was second. Maxwell's teammate Sevilla Blanc was third. Maxwell, Kohler, Blanc, Keller and Lil in fifth. Samara Maxwell leads the way in 2025 after a hectic weekend in Araxá. Kohler up into second behind her, then the reigning title holder Keller in third.
A whole host of brand new faces on that podium, and none seeming to enjoy it any more than Sammy Maxwell. What a recovery, Ollie, from all of the conflict that she had around going to the Olympics, the brilliant performances she had, the eating disorders that she's spoken about publicly. It was a beautiful moment.
2024 super stress, up, down. She was U23 world champion a couple of years ago, and that was a bit of a surprise. And then sitting those riders sitting there in about 10th, 12th position last year, had a good Olympic Games, but then coming back this year, we did the short track. You interviewed her before, and she was like super stoked and excited, but then to like get a second, she couldn't believe it, and then to make that front group today, and we were in comms going, she made the front five, then she hit the front, and we were like, wow, it's like, that's the first time she hit the front of a race, and she's gonna get top 5, and then to attack, take it on, get a win. It's bonkers, absolutely bonkers.
2 laps out, you didn't even believe it, but in the end, yes, she came through, and it was a stunning finish, and the emotion is just quite a lot about what we see in mountain bike. We've had a very emotional day, actually, Henry, and Josh, you had some interesting points, or you spoke a lot to some of those riders who'd broken new ground after the show finished. What sprung out to you?
Yeah, I mean, there was so much to that race. The heat, the pace to start with, the way that Yolanda went out so strong, Jenny went out so strong early and exploded. So there was so much, And again, it feeds back to the performance from Sammy Maxwell. So not only, even Candice Lill was up there, but not only did she have to manage that elite racing and that turbulence, that yo-yo, but she got to race amongst the people she's idolized for years. She's only young. She was on the start line today saying she could not believe she was next to Evie Richards. And now they're going to be saying they can't believe they were next to Sammy Maxwell.
And decathlon forward as well.
Decathlon forward.
First win, Sevilla Blanc third. She's been on the edge on the podium last year. Had a great year last year, but first and third for that team.
Well, you saw how emotional she was on the finish line, and I can't wait for you to hear the interview she did after the race. Here's Sammy Maxwell, today's winner.
Samara Maxwell with your second podium of the weekend and your first ever XCO Elite win. You look like you can't actually believe this is happening.
I genuinely can't. Like, we were racing and Jenny was so strong at the start, and I was on the limit the whole time. I knew on the descents I've been working so hard technically over the summer, winter for Europe, on my skills, and Lewis Hamilton back in NZ's been helping me, and I knew I could like save energy on the downhills. It was just a matter of getting to the front, and on the second to last lap I just went for it and I got a gap and I said, far out, this is it, like just go.
Lap 6, that was when you managed to make your way through to the front. What was going through your mind then? What was tactically, what were you thinking? Let's just keep this position.
I was just, we had a plan going in to just kind of sit on the wheels for the first 2 laps, and then the last 2 just go for it because it's hot and hydration and cooling was going to be key, so you could cook yourself too soon on this track, on the pinches getting into the red. So we just wanted to wait until the end and then go as hard as you could. And I think, to win, you've got to be strong, but the cards also have to fall your way. And I think I just got lucky with a gap, and then I said, all right, like the girls behind me are strong, but if I go hard, they're going to have to go real hard to catch it.
It feels like there's a real sense of self-belief from you. Whenabouts on the track did you think this is actually going to be mine?
At the finish line, I honestly just couldn't believe it. I just kept telling myself, like, this is for a World Cup win. Just hurt as much as you can because you won't get it if you don't. And far out.
Samara Maxwell there paying huge testament to her team, and there's a lot of conversation about the success of multiple teams we hadn't seen succeed before on the women's podium. But there was also a very special second place, Josh.
That's right. Nicole Kohler was coming through incredibly strong towards the end of that race. She had again another strong short track race. We haven't seen a performance from her like that in a little while. She said she was hanging that whole last lap, but she knew, she's like, I've just got to dig, I've just got to go harder and harder. But she was stressing the whole way home. She may have looked quite effortless. They all look fantastic, but inside she definitely had to push very, very hard to get that incredible performance all the way to the line.
And you saw this type of course, because it's got this long flat start finish, you kept seeing this group in the women's race go back, and it split a bit, come back together.
The yo-yo.
Positions would change around, you kept moving around, and then all of a sudden some like the top 3 kind of came to the front. Jenny Risved's dropped back. But it's a cool bit about this circuit. This is start-finish, and it just helps. You're never completely decided, and you get this real group race and this splitting around.
Yeah, a very special circuit, I'm sure
And
Henry
also,
will agree.
like, super important move from Nicole was like mid-race when she jumped from the second group to the third group. And as she said, like it was hurting. It was a painful race. So it takes some courage, like to face the wind. There was a little bit of a tailwind on the final stretch, but some headwind on the other side. So it takes some courage, like you need to burn a few matches to make this type of move.
Yeah.
But in the end, she ended up on the podium, so it was more than worth.
Yeah, some amazing performances, and we saw a stunning recovery from Jen Jackson as well, who went down early doors, and we're gonna see a pretty stunning recovery in the men's race as well, but we don't want to give anything away before you've seen the highlights. So let's go ahead with those now then. This is the highlights of the final race of the weekend, the men's elite XCO.
The opening round of the Whoop UCI Mountain Bike World Series took place in Araxá, Brazil. The final race of the day was the Elite Men's Cross Country Olympic UCI World Cup. And it started with a sizable impact on the start straight, which took out Canyon Collective's Toma Grillo alongside another couple of riders, but out the front, it was absolute carnage. Before one of the most remarkable races in the sport's history unfolded. Blevins and Koretsky took the lead from Schurter, Andreasen and Azzaro. And the Specialized pair would stoically refuse to look behind them. Their lead was built over the course of the race to nearly 50 seconds ahead of the chasing pack. Nino Schurter taken out of contention with an early puncture. He was down outside the top 40, but it wouldn't be Nino Schurter if he didn't make inroads back towards the front. Over the course of the race, Lukas Schwarzbauer for Canyon Collective was the rider who decided that something needed to be done about the gap. But by that stage, the red arrows were flying in formation. Koretsky and Blevins were inseparable. Schurter getting some of the loudest roars of the day from the fans. And the cracks started to appear. This attack from Koretsky was long range, but it was planned and it was effective. The gap would grow to a maximum of 16 seconds. Behind them though, Blevins would later credit MVP to Martin Vidauri, who controlled the pack, acted as a rear gunner. Schurter soldiered through the field back towards the front, but there was no answering the man from Béziers. Victor Koretsky got the win at round one, celebrated in some style and fantastic camaraderie with the man he'd raced all race long, Christopher Blevins. Martin Vidauri sprinted home the third to make it a historic Specialized podium lockout. Adrien Boissy inside the top 10 comfortably as well. Big Red Machine dominating the top 10. Koretsky, Blevins, Vidauri, your top three. Victor Koretsky, second in the short track on Saturday. Winner in cross-country Olympic come Sunday. Koretsky leads the way in the overall from Blevins and Vidauri as we head to round two.
Those fluffy capybaras hoisted aloft, as well they might be, to celebrate that unique in history podium, Specialized 1, 2, 3. And what an unbelievable ride. We've got only a few minutes, guys, here to try and cut through all of the storylines that played out in the men's race today. We can go back to the beginning, I think. The first thing that happened was that huge crash.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It's rare to get a start line crash, but there was a huge one. I think it was Thomas Grillo went down, came on the left side of the pack and went all the way across the right guys in the barriers. Thankfully, I think everyone's okay-ish.
Yeah, he's got a sling, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Grillo?
but it's amazing how most of the guys get off the start line, but that was the start point. And then we went along the start straight and we were thinking, okay, everyone wants to get round the first lap, and we expected to see, like the other races, a group.
Right.
But the Specialized guys hit that first climb and just launched it. They said it wasn't planned, but I think they just wanted to get that first lap, stay out of trouble. But the form and condition they've got, they did an 8-minute 30 lap, which is the fastest lap of the race on lap one, smashed it, got the gap, but it was that course. And the amazing thing, like the women's race, we see that bunching. The key one was they got the gap coming round the start finish. Then the 20 seconds behind, everybody, this big group looked at each other and stalled. And that 20 seconds before you know it was 40 seconds. And we were sitting there going, me and Henry were sitting in comms going, we've never seen this before. Are they going to be able to do it? Are they going to stay away?
What was your first thought when you saw the pace that they were setting, Henry?
Like the pace on the first lap was really, really high, perhaps like too high. But once they got the gap, they didn't chill. So they looked at each other and they immediately started working together. And I think that was the most crucial point of the race, because once they established that 20+ seconds gap, every time that the group was getting at the bottom part of the course, with some wind, they were always like chilling a little bit, just looking to each other a little bit, or trying to avoid wasting energy. And that's where they always like regain it 5 seconds, 10 seconds. And it was very crucial that they didn't hang around, or they didn't try to save too much early on. And that's why the strategy, or, you know, it played out their favor.
And we had Martin Vidari in the next group, who also had great legs today, also specialised factory racing, and he was just buzzing around the front. He did a really great job. He didn't have to put the brakes on or anything, but he was just there, just getting in the way, just some road race tactics, basically, just not really getting, and just discouraging the tactics from behind and letting a group go. So every time he went to the front, then it went to 45. There was a key moment about lap 3 when it got to 20 seconds. Then everyone chilled, looked at each other, it went to 45. And we were saying that there's a point when the guys behind this big group go, right, 1 and 2 have gone, now we're going to fight for 3rd. And that's what we saw, and then they had a big scrap for the last lap, but by then it was a minute.
And Victor Kurutsky paid testament to his teammate afterwards and said, you know, how important the work was that he did and how proud he was to see them all up there. We also, of course, saw Nino Schurter recover from way back all the way up to finishing 5th, and a host of other stunning performances, which you can see in the full highlights show as well. Or you can rewatch the whole of that on Discovery Plus. Now then, Josh has managed to sneak into a bit of a celebration in the Specialized team camp. Shall we join him?
We've just popped into a Specialized Brazil over here. There's an incredible amount of people. Specialized have had an incredible race weekend. Not only have they got the local favourites, but they got some of the biggest in the biz. Chris, this is a pretty good way to end a race, huh?
Yeah, look at, I mean, yeah, it's awesome. They're all here for Martin. I'm here for Martin, but you know, I mean, that's how it is.
We're definitely here for Martin. Martin, we've watched the Red Bull race tapes, and now we're here almost close to home. How does this feel?
It's just insane. The crowd is just insane. They're just such a good people. I felt them on track all day, so it's just great. I'm a big fan, so I just love it. We did the job today, so yeah, we can be happy. Yeah.
Tell us about jumping that fence and being with all of your closest and nearest and dearest and banging on that drum. You could feel the emotion there.
Yeah, it's crazy. I hope we come to Brazil next year. So I think the people really like the racing here. So we need to keep that, and it's just to be in a place where they like you. It's just amazing.
Chris, talk us through how you felt before you get stuck into those burritos. Talk us how you felt out in the front there. Like, what was going through your mind, you and Victor? Were you talking to each other? Or is it just about suffering silently?
Yeah, honestly, not much going through the mind. It was just we were just efficient. We were doing everything we could. Didn't really feel like a World Cup, which is in a good way. Yeah, I don't know. It is an amazing feeling. We were just clicked in. We had the perfect, pace together, like rotating every lap. And yeah, it was a beautiful day.
Beautiful day, to say the very least. Speaking of beautiful, Adrian, talk us through your moment here. You had to really battle today. I thought you were trying to get him out. Talk us through how you felt to be so close to the boys in the position that you were now fighting with them.
Yeah, I mean, I started a bit far back and I just moved my way slowly but surely, and then before I knew it, I could see Martin, and then I saw the 2 guys in front on the lap time, and I was like, oh, that's amazing. And yeah, in the last lap, I tried to attack with Martin, and then when I saw that he was 3rd, I was trying to slow the group back. And yeah, I mean, I've had a terrible year last year, and just to be back at a good level feels so good. So everybody's a Martin fan, so...
Yeah. Everybody's a Martin fan. We're all a Martin fan. We'll let you guys enjoy this and get amongst it. Well done, boys. What a moment to have an epic race and celebrate it with some of their nearest and dearest. Back to you guys.
Ain't no party without Josh Carlson invited. We've got just one more minute before we head out of here and go and perhaps sit in the pool, maybe?
Maybe.
Grab a little beer.
I'm going to the bar.
You're going to the bar?
Yeah, 100%.
Oli,
I need to calm my nerves.
This man is a current rider, so he's just going to be drinking
He's on the ice bath.
Lucozade and bananas.
I need a day off. That's quite special today.
But of course, we are all back here Friday, 4:30. What are you feeling heading into next weekend?
Super excited. From what we got today during this weekend was so amazing to kick off the season like that. So many things still happening, so many things still rolling, so much to talk about during this week. So I'm looking forward.
3 Brazilian men in the top 15 in the XCO.
Yeah, now the bar is raised. Maybe now 3 guys on top 10, boys.
There we
Let's
go.
go.
No pressure.
Push.
Big thing next week, what are they going to do with the course? It's not going to be the same course. We forget about this. They're going to flip things up a little bit. I don't know exactly what they're doing. There's going to be some things in reverse, some new sections.
Okay.
So yeah, just so we've got 2 races at the same venue, new course.
Okay, we'll keep your ear to the ground. We'll talk about it very, very soon.
I'll be on Thursday having a little walk.
Yeah, I'll join you. We'll get up those 25%
gradient.
Oh man, let's not. We can't wait to see you. Join us live if you can at 4:30 on Friday. That's UK time, or we'll be back with the B line next weekend.